All right, glad to have you back. We'll go to the next story now. Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku and his Benue State counterpart Samuel Otom have denied army militia group to attack Fulani herdsmen.
Now, the allegation was made by Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, during a meeting with the Militia Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in Niger State. Sanusi called on the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, to caution the governors on the manner the militias, the armed, have continued to implement the obnoxious and unconstitutional anti-grazing laws.
Rejecting Sanusi's allegation in its entirety, Ishaku maintained that his administration has not recruited militia and is not involved in the training of such people anywhere in or outside the state. Now with us in the studio is a security consultant, Oladende Aria. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Presidential candidate 2019.
Are you serious about that? You announced?
Of course,
okay,
yes.
presidential.
Are you announcing it for the first time?
I'm just taking this opportunity free of charge to announce my presidential ambition.
You're aspiring to be, yeah, so you're not a candidate yet.
Invoice me.
NG is in shock. Anyway, okay, yeah, seems to be the only one we have for now. So, yes, this is becoming quite worrisome.
Right.
Before we even go to the dastardly acts being committed by the perpetrators in the North Central or majorly, but the outbursts from leaders, are you not worried?
We have never been any more divided at any time in our political history than we are now. And the divisions are getting crazier by the day. They are getting increasingly dangerous. While waiting to come on set, there was this news broadcast that herdsmen sacked a local government council in Akure. They were having a wedding and then they invaded the place. What brought that? They had earlier attacked two people. And then because one of them recorded the act on video to avoid being arrested and of course prosecuted, they invaded the council. The question now is the level of impunity of the herdsmen now becoming far more dangerous that can be accommodated.
But this seems to be taking a totally new dimension. Where you have the Emir of Kano, let me just bring this in. Where you have the Emir of Kano accusing two governors of arming militias.
Yes,
what exactly do you think is trying to achieve?
I'm going there.
Yeah.
Wait. Now, I would not expect the governor from those states not to think of some action. Again, in the state yesterday, a man was macheted while on his farm. You remember that Governor Fayose invited the farmers for a meeting in government house and told them, get to defend yourself. Now, if you position
those... We spoke with the hunters too.
Yes, if you position those two states against Taraba and Benue, where we have experienced far more dastardly deaths and murders and destruction. I'm sorry. I mean, again, it reflects a disconnect between the states and the federal government. I remember the governor of Benue in particular saying that he had written letters to the presidency and even to the IG seeking for help. None was forthcoming. Constitutionally, this is the man that's the CSO, Chief Security Officer of the state, but he has no power over the police or even the civil defense in his state.
Yeah, but the same presidency said they did not get any heads up from.
I would not expect them to admit that
from
they
the Benue governor. All right, we'll put you on hold very quickly. We have to go for the news update right now. When we come back, Mr. Rio, we'll continue our discussion on this arming of militias claimed by the Emir of Kano. Ugochi Olu was standing by to give us the news update. Ugochi, over to you now. And that's why we have this situation that seems to be getting out of hand. Mr. Rio, you were trying to develop a line of thought earlier before we went on that break on the issue of, well, I did ask you, what exactly the Emir had in mind coming out with this kind of information. Does it not further complicate the issues at hand?
It has worsened an already bad situation, especially when it is a common knowledge that is a patron to the militia Allah. Okay? He has a dual role now as the Emir, a leader of the people, traditional leader of the people, now as a patron of militia Allah. I would never have expected him to have come out and then say that. One, he has no basis for his assertion. He has no facts, no proof. All he has are mere speculations and rumors, as they call it in the street slang. They call it DNC. Yes, if I'm any of those governors, I will take him to court.
But the action of the Attorney General of Taraba State became quite suspicious to many because after the Mambila attack, some suspects were arrested by the police there. And then the Attorney General wrote a letter to the police command to release them, that it should be put through the Judicial Commission inquiry instead of, and the police already charged these suspects to court.
You know, these are not the best of the times to be a Nigerian living in Nigeria. The other day, it was the first PRO that was insulting the governor around the same issue. And then they
insulted Benue governor.
Yes, and now this. If I had the authority, the Attorney General should by now be arrested, because he has to explain his interest in trying to restrain the police from performing their lawful duty. Well,
the reason he gave was that it was to avoid a double jeopardy situation whereby the perpetrator, the suspects would have been charged to court and then be sentenced if found guilty, and then maybe if they were found guilty again, would have to be, you know, sentenced. That was the explanation again.
I'm not a lawyer. What he has done is that he has stood in the way of justice. Police, they don't have the power to sentence people. They have arrested them. They will investigate, gather intelligence, gather facts and figures that will support their position in the court. It's only judiciary that can sentence them.
But his office is backed by the Constitution.
What he has done now is to preempt.
Okay, we've just let's put you on hold. We've just been joined on the phone by Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the Taraba State Governor, Bala Abu. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Please help us clarify this issue. Of course, we know that the governor of Benue State and, of course, Taraba, your state, have both debunked the claims by the Emir of Kano. But when you hear from your neighboring governor in Benue State, when he tells his people to defend themselves against herdsmen attacks, and then you have these allegations, you know, coming from the Emir, how exactly do you know, what's your reading of that statement from the Benue State governor that his people should defend themselves against herdsmen? How do you expect them to defend themselves?
Well, thank you very much. My governor, His Excellency, has not given such directive that people should defend themselves. But defending oneself is normal, it's natural. Nobody who knows he or she is going to be attacked will fold his or her arms and wait to be killed. Defending oneself is normal, it's natural. And I don't see anything wrong if a governor tells people to defend themselves if they are going to be attacked.
All right,
but that does not amount to arming
militia
people or raising a militia group, training militia group to go to war. We have no such plan. We are not training anybody anywhere, either within the country or within the state, for the purpose of defending Taraba people. The governor, Architect Darius Dixon Shaku, stands for peace. He wants every problem arising from herdsmen problem to be resolved very amicably, so that there will be no death, there will be no killings, there will be no destruction of properties. And that is what he has been preaching, and that is what he stands for, where he is not training any militia.
All right, Bala, let me come in here. You said that earlier. Okay, a Fulani group really asked a question that if the governor of Taraba State wasn't culpable in the Mambila attack, why will the Attorney General of Taraba State write a letter to the police commissioner in that state to release the suspects arrested?
Well, I would not like to hold brief for the Attorney General. First of all, I'm not a lawyer, but I have heard him say several times that it will amount to double jeopardy for the people who are being investigated by a judicial commission of inquiry set up by His Excellency the Governor of Taraba State to be detained at the same time. So he is the one who can explain it, because I am not a lawyer. I don't want to go into the terrain that I'm not very familiar with. But I don't think that the Attorney General, who is a very, very professional lawyer, will do anything that is illegal. I think he has very good grounds to do what he did. But he is the one who can actually explain the nitty-gritty of what he did.
The Emir of Kano claims that the anti-open grazing law is being enforced through militias armed by the governors of Taraba and, of course, Benue State. Do you want to clarify that?
That is very, very unfounded. It's an unfounded and very unfair allegation. The governor of Taraba State, Architect Darius Dixon Shaku, has done so much to promote peace. In fact, he came into the state in 2015 as governor wielding the olive branch. He had gone to every nook and corner of this state preaching peace. How can the same governor now train militia people to begin to disrupt the peace that he has achieved through his own effort? It's like building a house and then destroying the same house. Nobody in his right senses will do such a thing. The governor is not training militia anywhere in the state or outside the state. What he is doing is to ensure that every issue arising from herdsmen attacks and killings in the state are resolved. And that is why he took the step of sponsoring the anti-open grazing and ranches establishment law that is now in force. But to make sure that there are no crises arising from the implementation, he has also very graciously directed that the implementation of the law should be gradual, so that nobody is telling anybody to park and go get out with their cows and every other animal that they are rearing. So there will be no disruption. He has graciously said that the implementation should be gradual. What else can anybody who has the peace and the love of his people at heart do? The Emir of Kano should play a more noble role, because the things that are coming from the Emir of Kano do not help the situation that we have in Taraba and Benue. The other day he was on air saying that 800 Fulani people were killed in Mambila. And people are beginning to wonder how many Fulani people are on the Mambila. If 800 of them are killed, it means up to now blood will be flowing there. We should be very careful in the number of, in the statistics that we are releasing. The Emir of Kano is
Bala, because of time, let me quickly come in here. I want to ask you to tell us quickly, has the Taraba government established ranches as an alternative, really, to, to check, to balance the law? Yeah.
That project is in progress right now. The pilot ranches are being established. The places have been identified, and work is starting very soon. And that is part of the reason why the implementation of the law is not taking immediate effect. I mean, it's gradual. That is why His Excellency said it should be gradual, so that the structures that are required for the law to effectively take place will be on ground first.
Okay.
So So that is what he has done, and I think
All
that
right.
is good.
Bala Abu, Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to Taraba State Governor. Thank you for your time on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, let's bring this back to Mr. Ario. On the issue of this 800 Fulani herdsmen that Emir of Kano claimed that were killed on the Mambila, is it worth investigating in the first place instead of just waving it off with...
800 is a huge crowd. It's a huge, you can imagine, I mean, 800 corpses lying around any territory.
Yeah, because the Emir of Kano is claiming that he actually has evidence and that the state government did not do anything about it.
Even if he has evidence, at his level, making such sweeping and ignoble statements like that, they will cause more harm than good. You heard what Bala just said now, that statement is not helping the situation. It's inflammatory.
Some even said that he shouldn't have waited for the killing of people, residents in Benue State and other states before commenting. If
he has such information at his level, he has access to security at the appropriate level, okay, to tell them this is what I had. Please investigate. And in any case, I doubt, like he said, how many people actually reside on the Mambila to now murder 800 Fulanis. It's not helping situations. When you remember that it's a patron of militia Allah, it now becomes an issue. You want to ask yourself, is it being fair? Is it being truthful? Is that the way to go?
Well, the Vice President, Emir Shibajo, only recently said there is a need to approach this herdsmen-farmers crisis with an open mind.
And tact.
Yeah.
And sincerity too.
Is that being done?
We cannot go on making frivolous and releasing figures, you know, that could disturb other people and then spur them into counter-action, which will worsen an already bad situation.
Now, people are some are saying that the federal government should be blamed for all this, for its insincerity. Because in 2016, it already announced that it was going to establish ranches. Nothing was done. In fact, the Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, came out to say that he was aware that Fulani herdsmen were carrying AK-47s around their necks and even around the waist of their cattle, that they must be disarmed by the police and the army. Yet nothing was done till now.
Let me tell you, the two words I reserve for the federal government are inertia and lethargy. There has been so much inertia in things, and you wonder if, in some cases, we have a government in place at the federal level. Again, this herdsmen thing started, fine, it's been on before they came to power. But in the last 3 years, it has gradually become a menace, so much that you now fear herdsmen more than you fear even Boko Haram, an acclaimed terrorist group.
That attacked, Fulani herdsmen that attacked the fourth most dangerous group in the world.
Globally now, they have been tagged as the fourth most dangerous terrorist group.
Yes, indeed.
And these are
okay, Mr. Ario, let's put you on hold. Oladende Ario there with us in the studio. We've just been joined again on the phone by spokesman to the Benue State Governor, Teve Akase. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Would like to get your immediate response to these claims coming from the Emir of Kano that your state governor and, of course, the governor of Taraba are really behind arming militias as a way of enforcing the anti-open grazing law. If we have
question, that's an unfortunate. That's one of the most unfortunate comments ever to be made by a man who ordinarily should be a father, should be respected by all people, whether they are from his ethnic group, whether they are from his religion, whether they are from his part of the country or not. What we have now is a clear indication that Benue people are on their own. When you have a royal father of that standing come out to make such a statement, then you know that something is wrong somewhere. It can't get any worse. Because remember that in 2015, Governor Samuel Otom disarmed youth of Benue and over 700 arms and ammunition were recovered, and over 800 youth embraced that amnesty. And one of the arrowheads of that amnesty program was the man who is on the run now, the man who has been declared wanted, called Ghana. The government of Benue has placed 50 million reward for anyone who will give information that will lead to the arrest of Ghana. This is to show that Governor Samuel Otom is a man who does not believe in militia. He does not believe in violence. He does not believe in unconventional means of security. He believes in conventional means, and that is why Benue...
Teve, let me come in here. Yeah. Teve, let me come in here. But your governor has been credited to saying that Benue indigents should defend themselves. What does that mean?
Well, you see, when the governor says Benue people, he has been warning that we are not getting enough security. Security people should do more. Because self-defense is permitted. Security people should do more. Because self-defense is permitted. Now, this does not mean the government has not called on anyone to take sophisticated arms, to take arms that are prohibited. But of course, to come to kill me, I don't have to sit there and watch you kill me.
Yeah, but self-defense, when you say people should defend themselves, how do they defend themselves if they're not armed, if they are facing armed herdsmen, as we say they are? How do they defend themselves if they're not armed?
Hello, you are diverting from this question. The first question you asked me was I should comment on the remark, on the statement made by the Emir of Kano.
Yes, and you have responded to that.
I have not. I wasn't through with that response, and I want to say that statement by the Emir of Kano now puts him clearly as one of the sponsors of the Fulani herdsmen who have been killing people. Because remember, he said in that address that Fulani herdsmen have agreed now to put down their arms. That is one thing that Nigerians should underline, that Fulani herdsmen have now agreed to put down their arms. So if the Emir comes out to say that, then it means that he knew and he knows that these people were carrying arms and killing people. That is why he's now telling Nigeria that the armsmen, the herdsmen, have agreed to put down their arms. This is one fact the people of this country must not take lightly, because it means he knows those who are killing Nigerians. He knows those who invaded Benue on the 1st of January. That is why he's saying, with all authority now, that these people have agreed to put down their arms.
Okay.
So I think that Nigerians need to know this thing, and that we have to value lives. When people are killed, it should be a concern of us. Because cows, as far as we are concerned, cows, the life of a cow is not more than the life of a human being.
Absolutely.
All right. What's your take with the visit of Mr. President to Nasarawa State? A lot of people have said, why not visit Benue State? What is the stance of your state governor on that visit to Nasarawa by President Buhari?
I'm sorry, are you referring to the visit of Mr. President recently to Nasarawa State?
Yes, indeed.
Why the governor of Benue didn't go to Nasarawa?
No, I'm asking if it means anything to you that Mr. President has not visited Benue State.
Well, it's a concern to us. Of course, it's a concern because he is the father of this country. And if a part of the country is crying, if Benue people are crying, we are his children too. And if we have cried for more than 1 month, then we expect our father to visit us. We expect Mr. President to visit us as well. So we don't have to comment about his visit to Nasarawa State. We are concerned about his visit to Benue State because he has not visited Benue State. We are not blaming him. He has a lot of things to do on his table. But how we wish that Mr. President had come to Benue. Because remember, during the flood, Mr. President sent his vice to visit Benue immediately after the flood in October last year. And the visit was followed by ministers and other top government officials coming to Benue, and so many relief materials were sent to Benue. And in the flood, the disaster did not take any life. People did not die during the flood of last year.
All right, Teve, because of time.
We had top-level visits, and now we have...
All right, Teve, because of time, I apologize I had to butt in there, but just want to get your reaction before we wrap it up with you. So what is the reaction of the government now in Benue State to the announcement by Governor David Umahi, the leader of the Sub-Technical Committee of the National Economic Council, that herdsmen now have accepted ranching in Benue and Nasarawa states?
Well, but that is what we expected herdsmen to have done very long ago. Because when a law is passed, that law has to be respected. So if they now say that they want to embrace the law of ranching by Benue, passed by Benue State, then they are on the right path. That is what they should have done long ago. Not saying that they will mobilize all their members in West Africa and in the whole of the African continent to come, invade Benue, kill people, and resist the implementation of the law. That was an affront. And now that they have come back to their senses to say that, look, we will embrace this law, we will respect this law, it is the way to go, and we encourage them to do that as fast as possible.
All right, Teve. Thank you very much, Teve Akase, spokesman to the Benue State Governor, speaking to us.
Indeed. Can I say something?
Yes, okay, you can go ahead.
There's a difference between the governor telling people to launch offensive against herdsmen as against telling them to defend themselves. Self-preservation is a natural order. I will not sit down here and somebody is coming with his stick to strike me on my head and I will not do something about it. Please, if I cannot run away, I might get a bigger stick or something to counter his action.
But wouldn't it have been more reassuring if the governor had said, I will do all it takes in my powers to protect the indigents of Benue State against herdsmen attacks? Instead of saying they should defend themselves.
Not playing with grammar.
What
capacity does he have as a person?
Do the people themselves have the capacity?
Under him. Don't see. Olusoyinka just said it yesterday. That, of course, in the past today, that is a hunter in the Ogun State, like a racer in the Ogun State, and that if herdsmen should continue rampaging in the Ogun State, it will gather the hunters for a counter-action. It's the same thing.
Well, Paul Onongo, the former chairman of Northern Elders Forum, said the same thing, really, that the federal government did nothing. But then...
And let me also tell you this. Whoever said, somebody said that they've agreed to drop their arms. Till date, no herdsman has been arrested, tried, and sent to prison. What are we talking about now? So who are the people they are talking to? How am I to believe what they are saying? Lives have been lost. Wealth have been wasted. People have been rendered homeless. They are displaced people in Nigeria. They are homeless. Why? Because people brought animals to destroy their means of livelihood. People spend their time working hard on their farms, planting, waiting for harvest. Some even harvested, yet they were eaten up by animals.
The sad thing about this all is some analysts have told us that we are not even looking at this from the economic outlook of it. That is purely an economic problem, which the government is somehow not
even attending to. And let me tell you, animal husbandry, which is their business, is a private business. Those of us who are into fisheries, should we now invade areas and then cause mayhem? Those who are into piggery do the same thing. It's not right.
Is it that there is no political...
fact that those who are in this business are the mighty people in Nigeria, the powerful people in Nigeria, does not make a difference.
Is it that the political will is not there? Because in Botswana, they're just about 2.2 million population, and that country has been able to manage this problem.
Political will?
Botswana has more than 3 million cattle. And all of them, exactly, they are in ranches.
I mean, the other day, somebody was saying that some mundane laws of 1956 or whatever gave some routes as grazing routes from the north to the south. Development as of today has cancelled out all sorts of things. Places that were like forests and bushes today, people now inhabit them. They build houses there. There are factories there. There are women's existence.
Because population is growing, land is limited.
I mean, we can't begin to do all of that, and they must get it right. When you push anybody to the wall, they will react. They should not wait till there's an explosion. We are sitting on a keg.
Okay,
of,
so how do we get to the bottom of this? How do we end this? If
the
not
federal government has to get on, okay, and take responsible action. Not just being reactive now. They should be upfront in tackling these things.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
President should even address the nation and tell us something instead of keeping quiet.
And he didn't even address that problem
Exactly.
during the New Year
instead of keeping
message.
quiet. You had that is in trance.
We could go on and on.
We have to wrap it here. Olade Indiari, your security expert. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Of course, a nine-man committee has been set up to look into this crisis. No.
Wait for her after the show. You talk about it.
Already spoken